Hello, this is Nico,
And I'm Kat.
and today we are going to answer some of the questions that you asked me. Well, I am going to answer the questions, and Kat will ask them for you.
So I've got them all written down, ready to go. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
The first question: what's your favorite medieval torture device?
Wow, there are many devices that I have actually seen in torture museums in Europe. There's a really good one in Amsterdam. Of course, there's the um, Maiden of Nuremberg, which is a kind of coffin with nails inside. It is also known as the Iron Maiden. Um, you can see this device in several horror movies from the 60s. There is a very famous one by Mario Bava. But yes, it's a very classic torture device which some scholars believe not to have ever been used. It was more of a device that was shown to the people who were being tortured, so that it would instill fear in them and force them to confess.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that will do it. It's also one of the devices that was supposedly used by Elizabeth Bathory. So yes, the Iron Maiden. But I also love the skull crushers. There was some kind of device with a metal cap that would crush your skull. There was some kind of screw.
It's kind of like a vice.
Yeah, like a huge vice. I also like the pear. It was a pear-shaped object that you would stuff in someone's mouth, and there would be a screw, and you would slowly open the pear in the mouth.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, that was grim.
Doesn't sound much fun.
Yeah, but yeah, that was so inventive back in the days.
Yeah, no one's got any creativity these days.
Except cereal pleasures.
Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Moving on. Which serial killer is your least favourite and why? Your least favourite?
It has to be among the really well-known ones. I've never really been into the crimes of David Berkowitz because the character himself is pretty lame. What he has become in jail is even lamer. The son of hope. So no, yeah. I mean,
He's
I don't
boring.
believe in the all those theories about him belonging to some kind of weird satanic cult. You know, I've been in the satanic underground for quite a while now, and I've never heard of an active, supposedly satanic branch of the Process Church of Final Judgment. The Process Church was a hippie cult from the 60s. They more or less inspired Manson for the Manson family, but they had absolutely nothing to do with Berkowitz. This was a magnificent tale invented by a journalist who was trying, to make a few bucks with all these stupid theories about all this fit in the satanic panic of the 80s. Of course, the satanic panic was based more or less on facts, like the Richard Ramirez case and, Rick Casso and several other cases that really happened and where there was a certain form of devil worship involved. But yeah, the Son of Sam case was the guy was just a frustrated,
Incel.
incel. Basically, he was an incel with a gun. He shot couples in cars and he jerked off when he came back home. That's what basically the reality of what happened. There was no accomplice or no cult or whatever. This was all bullshit.
Sad man couldn't get laid.
Exactly.
Crimea River.
Yeah.
When did you first become enticed by the macabre world?
Oh yeah, I was a kid. I was like many other kids interested in stories of vampires and werewolves and whatnot. I would watch TV shows with Frankenstein, the monster of Frankenstein, and Dracula, and cartoons, and there were some pretty cool cartoons in the 70s. There were wacky races, for example. They had a car with, Frankenstein, and, So, growing up in the 70s and being into the macabre and into Gaudi stuff, the only outlet you had was watching the Addams Family on TV. Otherwise, that it was a different era. So, of course, I began to become interested in other stuff. And as if you haven't read my biography yet, there's a chapter where I explained that I was exposed really early on to a trailer of the movie Phantasm, and that triggered something in me, definitely. So if there is a source to all of that and the macabre, and that's the movie Phantasm, the trailer that I saw on TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you'll do when you arrive in hell?
I will greet all the guys, checkmate, tac. Look for my throne, sit on it, and let the fun begin.
Presumptuous.
Yeah, and
waiting for
of
you?
course, and you're sitting next to me. We have two thrones. So.
Am I dying first?
No, no. I'll be waiting for you.
Keep the seat warm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, this is a good one. If I remember correctly, you corresponded, with different serial killers while in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Who were you most surprised about that responded to you, and do you still keep in contact with any of them?
Probably the biggest surprise I ever got was the first letter I ever got, because I didn't send out a letter. I received a letter from a serial killer without even sending any letter at first, and it was Patrick Kearney, the trash bag killer from California, and he was looking for a pen pal in another prison in Europe, because he wanted to first practice his French, because he's really fluent in French. This is surprising, but yes. And this is the actual first letter when I was in prison that I received from another inmate. And when I got that letter, I realized two things. The first thing is that the mailman in my prison didn't read English properly, because otherwise they would have censored the letter. So I realized that I could easily write to other inmates. There was the actual prison address on the envelope, but they were clueless. So I was asking my other pen pals. I had a lot of pen pals in the true crime community back then, and some people sent me addresses of people like Kemper. Dahmer was dead at the time, but plenty of killers. And I started to correspond, and I ended up getting about 30 different pen pals from all over the world, different prison systems. So yeah, it was kind of, if you've seen the movie Copycat, right? There's this guy at the end of Copycat. He's writing. It's a serial killer, and he's writing to another serial killer in jail, and he's kind of like, this circle of famous celebrity killers writing to each other. It kind of felt like that. So it was kind of fun. Plus, for me, it was a big fuck you to the French prison system. Eventually, they found out who those people were, because they found out that I was getting mail from different prisons in the US. They kind of Googled the names, and they found out. But in the law, nothing prevented them from me from getting the mail. So I carried on. So for the second part of the question, did I carry on corresponding with people? Yeah, I carried on corresponding with Issei Isagawa, who was a free man when I first started to correspond with him. Richard Ramirez, and other lesser known true crime personalities in Germany and in Europe. The longest I wrote to was Kearney, I guess, and Doc Clark, which I really enjoyed our friendship. He's still alive, but I haven't heard from him for a while now. Yeah.
Send him a Christmas card.
Yeah, I should, definitely. I don't know how old he is now because
He's getting on.
Yeah, he's getting on. Yeah, but he was a cool guy. The funny fact is that I was both corresponding with him and Carol Bundy, who was his accomplice. But Bundy died, so yeah.
And also her eyesight, I think, was failing her, and she
Yeah.
couldn't write by the end.
Yeah,
So she
exactly.
actually said a letter saying that she could not continue to write because she could not physically.
Yeah,
see what she was
according
doing
to
anymore.
Clark, Bundy was the real killer, the real Sunset Strip slayer. And he did not participate in any of the murders. That's Clark's claim.
He had the looks and the charm. She did not. She
No.
had the smarts, I guess.
She just had the name. She had the last name, that's all she had. Yeah.
Moving to the next question. Is there a person or serial killer that you're afraid of?
Afraid of? Nah. I don't know. Afraid. When I was in prison, I basically was working side by side with 6 other people, 6 serial killers. One of them had killed 20 people, and serial killers are people too. Serial killer is just a name, of course. They don't. Yeah, they're a bit different people, but I don't know. They act like any other regular people, and some of them are quite meek. Some of them are quite exuberant. Some of them really look like they are totally unreliable, and some of them have a very violent streak. But what I would say is never judge someone by the looks. I've met some extremely violent people in prison. People who cannot, and I say this honestly, they cannot function out of prison. I don't see them spending one single day outside of prison without hurting someone with a screwdriver or kicking a dog, or I don't know. People who are just plain bad, and they don't even act like they want to be bad. It's just the way they are. Just people who act on impulse, who are totally unstable psychologically. Was I afraid of them? No, because when you're among those people and you know how they work and you know more or less what triggers them and what's the key words that trigger them, just to avoid those words. And the thing is, because of my case, people viewed me as a monster already. So when you're viewed by a monster, as a monster by other monsters, what can you be afraid of? And I'm not bragging. I'm not even bragging. I just can't understand being afraid by someone. The only person I might be afraid of is some drug addict at 2 a.m. in the morning with a needle who's going to try to stab me in the eye. And it's not even fear. It's just, it's basic instinct. And I will find a way to break his jaw before he gets me or whatever. But otherwise, am I scared of certain people? No. What's to be scared, honestly, of people? When you, I don't know.
Social situation.
I can understand people who are, me, I don't. That's the thing. But yeah, it just.
I have crippling anxiety when people talk to me.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand that those types of people, of course, given the reputation or given, but even unpredictable people are predictable. Maybe the only persons you should be afraid of are people you do not understand how they work. Mentally, I mean. When they're chaos. personally, I thrive on chaos. I like chaos. This is my element. But I understand that a normal or regular person would feel very extremely uncomfortable in front of a person who escapes any basic psychological rule, because you cannot predict. So yeah.
That's a good answer.
Hmm.
Well, that kind of covers the next question. Is there anything that really scares you? I mean, outside of people.
No, same thing.
What's to be afraid of?
What's to be afraid of? The point is, are you an anxious person or not? And I don't think,
Quicksand.
cat knows anxiety, and we manage ways of trying to find ways of, living with anxiety. And I understand it's a struggle at times, and I can understand social anxiety, etc.
And the irrational thoughts that
Yeah.
go through someone's mind. I spent a lot more time worrying about quicksand in my lifetime than I think I need to be.
Fear and anxiety are defense mechanisms.
Yes.
Okay, my defense personally, and I'm speaking personally, my defense mechanisms are different. The only fear maybe I might have is a fear of not being in charge with my mental health. In the past, of course, I've had problems with my mental health. I think now I'm in a good place. The only thing I might fear, and that everybody should fear, except people who are close to me, but if I get, depression, or, go back to old ways or things like that, that would, of course, be something to be very, very, very afraid of. But I'm not in that mental place, thanks to the person who's sharing my life. And yeah, it's like a dam. You have those huge dams that prevents the floods from invading you. Cat is my dam.
Aww.
Yeah. And
I like the earth moving reference you just put in there. Thank you.
But when you're the common denominator among people who have a propensity to extreme violence and extreme behavior like that I know of is the lack of fear. When you get a person, and when you have a person, it's a cocktail. When you have a person that knows no fear and has no moral boundary, then you have an extremely deadly cocktail. That's if you want to understand something about extreme antisocial behavior and antisocial disorders, you have to get those two elements. And they are, for me, the key elements. Lack of moral boundaries, lack of guilt, because no moral boundary means no guilt. If you feel guilt over what you've done, you do one thing once, then you stop because you feel guilty, right? But if you do not feel any guilt, and if you do not feel any fear, then it's the gates are open to everything.
Okay. So if you think you had not found art as an outlet, so I think outlets are important here as well, would you have been able to reform and trust yourself?
More than art, I think it's creativity, and that's a very, very important thing here. It's a balance thing. When you are when you have a potential for destruction and annihilation, the balance to this is creation, right? And I think it's one of the reasons why so many inmates draw or paint, because those same hands that have killed, they might be able to create. And that's a concept that's really interesting for me, because creation is not only about drawing and painting. It can be writing, it can be creating new ideas, new concepts, or turning your life into a concept. Look at Charles Manson. Every time that he was on TV, it was performance art. If you look at it,
Very much so.
he managed to make the interview some kind of one-man show where he was the main actor, and that's pure creation.
Everything was a production.
It's amazing. Every single interview he did, it's mind-blowing, because he was for me the best performance artist that ever lived. Yeah.
Okay. I may have put some of these questions in. So I just...
Yeah.
If you had to follow one sport passionately for a whole season, what would it be and why?
Okay, first of all, I don't like team sports, so it would not be a team sport because I don't really have team spirit. I like combat sports, but just when people start losing their teeth or cracking their ribs. Not for me, because I don't like to get punches or punching people because you might hurt your hand.
We're asking you to follow one, not be a part of it.
Yeah, no. Following, I love wrestling because of the dramatics, but is it really a sport? Yes, it's a sport because what they do is exceptional on stage. But yeah, it's more, as a kid watching those, it was hilarious and funny, and the characters there. I was a huge fan of the Randy Savage, may rested in peace, and people always think, oh yeah, you must love the Undertaker. The Undertaker was okay, but I prefer Sting. They did the guy with the baseball bat, and he had some kind of black metal makeup on his face. Yeah, that would be wrestling.
Okay. If you could keep one Australian creature as a pet, what would it be? And don't say me.
Okay.
Because I'm not a pet.
As a pet. The problem with koalas is that they stink. They smell urine. So that, plus they have chlamydia.
You can't get chlamydia from koalas.
How would I get... I didn't say that I would get chlamydia, because that would imply some kind of interactions that we don't want to get there, of course.
From the toilet seat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's just, no, they're repulsive. Sorry.
Leave koalas alone.
Okay.
They're in decline because of attitudes like that.
Okay, so a kangaroo.
Where would we keep it?
A mini one. A small one.
They grow.
Yeah. Okay. A kangaroo pouch. I would nail it on my door, and it would be used as a mailbox.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
People that are not from Australia don't have any clue how gross kangaroo pouches are.
Yeah, they're slimy. A Tasmanian devil.
Alright, now we're talking. Now we're talking.
Tasmanian devil, yeah, I love them.
Alright, that's at least the size works for an apartment setting. It's good.
Tasmanian devil.
Good way to keep pesky neighbours and.
Or quasar.
Or a what?
Quasar. Causar. The bird.
Cassowary.
Cassowary.
It's not a Pokemon.
Yeah. It can kill you with its
Velociraptor type claws. Yeah, they're terrifying.
Next question, maybe. Next.
If you were a cartoon character, who would you be?
Ren from Ren and Stimpy.
That makes sense. I don't think you even need to explain that.
No, I don't mean to explain that.
Oh, a deep one. Is the Earth flat or round? Explain.
Wow. Depends where you are. I mean, if you are in some parts of Poland, I guess it's flat. If you live in Vatican, it's definitely flat. But the further you move away from Vatican, and the further you move away from certain areas, it gets rounder and rounder. That's my theory. The Earth is flat starting from Vatican, and the more you get away from Vatican, that's a good theory.
Are you calling Catholics flat earthers?
Of course, they're the epitome of flat earthers. I mean,
I never really thought that.
yeah, they invented flat earthing.
Okay, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Right, going from Catholicism to the opposite end of the spectrum here. When did you decide that Satanism was the path for you? And were there any specific factors that helped you in this decision?
I was a kid watching horror movies, and there were scenes with satanic cults, and I always thought that they dressed nice. I like the black capes. And there was this dude with the shaved hair who looked cool, with a beard.
I joined for the fashion.
Yeah, I joined Satanism for the fashion, definitely. And there was this song that I liked. It was called Really Rich Italian Satanists.
By Dirty Sanchez.
By Dirty Sanchez. This is the main reason why I joined the cult.
I love that song.
Yeah.
It's a banger.
It's a banger.
What's the goriest movie you've ever seen?
Goriest doesn't mean coolest, but goriest. I love all those old Italian cannibal movies, not cannabis, cannibal, and yeah.
What's gory about cannabis?
Yeah, I know. Like Let Them Die Slowly. This has to be one of my favorite movie titles of all times. Let Them Die Slowly. This is really cool. You have to watch this movie if you haven't seen it yet, because it's the most Italian cannibal movies ever. Cannibal Holocaust, of course. Huge fan, classic. They're gory. They're not the goriest, but I like my gore Italian. Yeah, Italians do it better in terms of pasta.
I like my gore
Italian. So I don't like Dario Argento. Well, I like Suspiria a bit, but the problem with those directors, okay, they made their reputation with those really cool movies from the 70s. They were young. He was 30 years old or 40 years old when he made those movies. Then he based his reputation and career on those awesome movies from the 70s. He carried on doing movies, and it was a downfall from there on. And the more movies he made, the worse they got. So that's the problem with creativity. You start really high, and then you're on top of the mountain, and you can't go any higher, and you just go. Ooh. So he should have stopped. But
left on a high note.
Yeah, exactly. What's the point? I mean, the guy is 80 years old. Have you seen Mother of Tears? I think it's called. It's one of those follow-ups that he did. It's one of the worst movies ever, and it's not even funny. So yeah, no. But yeah, in terms of gore, Necromantic 2. There's this guy called Sam Hare who sent me his Blu-rays recently. They're pretty cool. Check them out. And last movie I really enjoyed, which is not extremely gory, but I really like the feel, was Golden Glove. It's about this she approves. It's about this German serial killer called Fritz Honka. Not Willy Wonka, Fritz Honka.
Not to be confused.
Not to be confused. And the movie is brilliant piece of cinematography from.
And it's very true to life.
Very.
At the end of the film, they actually show a lot of footage and stills that were used as police evidence for the trial, and every detail in that film has been done to the letter.
Yeah.
To make it just like it was in real life. Like, it was like we were looking at the movie set, but they were actually police footage and police photos. and we just couldn't get over how true
Oh,
to
yeah.
life it all was. It was.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
well
grim.
done. It's
Very grim.
yeah, very grim. But if you like your movies gory and gritty, I definitely recommend that one.
One thing I liked about this movie is it doesn't try, like other movies, to turn its killer into a more intelligent person than he was in real life. The character in the movie is really stupid. You don't even understand why he doesn't get caught earlier because he's so dumb. And they show him like he was.
Just
So
a gross human being.
extremely gross, very basic needs, and that's what most serial killers are about. Very basic individuals who cannot understand the word no, and that's what it's all about.
I think also, looking back at the film, if he was living in a more affluent area, and I'm not saying that people from low income or socioeconomic backgrounds are more prone to committing crimes. However, if he was living in a more affluent area, somebody like him would have been henpecked straight away
Yeah,
by the locals, and
Yeah.
you know, he probably would have been picked up a lot sooner.
yeah, just
But
you
he
know,
lived in an area where it was always gritty, and you know, there were always fights happening, and the local bars were gross. So I think because that was just the kind of area that he was in, that probably helped cover it up a little bit.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, definitely recommend.
Hmm.
Are you affiliated with any occult groups?
No, I have this, I have this theory that when you are in a group of more than 3 people, statistically speaking, one of the people will be a moron. That's statistics. And that applies to any scene. Any. Even if you think that one scene is cooler than the other, no, there will be, statistically speaking, someone who will betray you or try to use you or try to, try to get advantage of something. Statistics, So, yeah, no, stay away from groups, occult things or whatever. Of course, I've been approached many times by so-called satanic groups or whatever or whoever. I'm in good terms with certain people who belong to some of those groups, and I respect their choice of being part of a group, being a part of that type of dynamic. Just it's not for me. I'm too. I'm a wild dog that barks at cars. I can't. Yeah, no, I can't be in a circle chanting and I can't do that. It's not for me. Sorry,
I
but
just have this vision of you chasing after a car and
yeah,
barking.
exactly. So occult groups. I've worked with people who are respected members of the order of so-called for blah 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 blah, and I'm also the enemy of some occult groups that I didn't give a fuck about, like Telemites. Yeah, let me talk about Telemites because they're extremely French Telemites. They're the best. French Telemites, so they're a group of morons and assholes.
Don't hold back.
Yeah, no. Who said that I defaced the Bay of Telema because I went there and there's paintings made by Aleister Crowley on the walls, and I collected some paint chips that were on the floor and on the walls. The painting was falling apart, and I put them in some kind of vial, and they said that I was desecrating the place by my presence and my evil deeds, and etc. So when you have these kind of morons and meaningless individuals in front of you, what's the point? I mean, what's the point? The occult scene is, and has always been, except for a few individuals like Crowley or LeVay, etc., very strong individuals. But around those strong individuals, the problem is that there's always, people who want to get some of the aura of the original founder or whatever.
So vulnerable, impressionable.
Yeah, and they want to be better than the others, and they want to impose their views and whatever. Those people, as long as you have written no books or no major work in the occult scene or made anything important, you do not exist for me. That's as simple as that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still dream about anything from your past life?
Yeah, sometimes I get like dreams where I'm in jail and I'm in my cell, and I woke up in my cell and I'm like, okay, this will be a day like any other. You know, like in what's the name?
Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day, where he wakes up and it's every single day is the same.
Best
So
movie.
that's, yeah, and that really describes prison experience, because you wake up and you know it will be the same day as before, and there will be minor, very minor changes, but other than that it will be the same day. So that it's more the lingering impression of waking up in a cell and knowing that you're gonna start over again the same day. And that dream, I still have it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the impression that lingers from that place. Yeah.
What crime site would you visit in the US and why?
Probably Amityville, because you know there's the thing around it, and the case itself is. I was a kid when it happened, and probably saw the movie when I was a kid too. So I'm interested in the Ronnie DiFeo case, and but yeah, there's probably more. Probably Gainesville in Florida. Stark Prison, because there's the graveyard behind Stark Prison. There's the graveyard where Otis Toole and Danny Rowling are buried. They're still there. So they're there. So it's their graves, and it's one of the few places where you can actually go to a serial killer's grave. There's not many, but you can go there, and there's two for the price of one. Plus, you get to see the prison where Ted Bundy was executed. So, yeah, if I want to go to a place, yeah, that would probably be Stark in Florida. Other than that, Cielo Drive, maybe. I don't know if I have time. And the Cecil Hotel, even if it's not, yeah, well, there was a few crimes, of course. There was Elisa Lam.
That turned out to be ruled a suicide,
Yeah,
wasn't
well,
it?
yeah, it's part of true crime history.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely those places. There's many places.
How do you respond to or handle critics, haters, and bullies? Do you find it easy to ignore them? Do you ever feel the need to correct some of what is said about you by those envious of your success, or are you averse to publicly justifying yourself in any way? It's a really good question.
Yeah. Well, 99% of the time I just ignore, because I have other things to do, and I don't care, honestly. If people, sometimes it's people who, if it's people who say, yeah, you're profiting from being a criminal, blah blah blah, that's a moral judgment. I do not give a f about people's moral, what they believe in, if they're Christian or Buddhist or whatsoever. It's not my business. So if they feel good telling, if their consciousness tells them, right consciousness tells them that they have to do this, express themselves to me because it makes them feel good about themselves. It's not my problem, you tell it to my ear and we'll get, I don't even know how you say it.
In one ear and out the other.
Yeah, in one ear, out the other. Because, that's your problem, man. That's your prerogative, Honestly, people get involved in, those moral debates, 99% of the time, it's not because they really care, it's because it makes them feel good about their faith or good about their moral standards, and it makes them feel a better person. So I'm not helping them do that, you know. I don't get into their maniacal delusions. You know, it's your problem. It's your problem, not mine. If you know, sometimes it's people who say, "Yeah, I've read that on the internet, blah blah blah." Yeah, of course, if you read Murderpedia of this kind of source, you will get, of course, false information. Sometimes it's interviews I've written, interviews I was supposed to have given out, and it turns out it was not me. So, you know, check your sources. There's a few French documentaries if you're interested in the case, but they're in French. There's a problem, it's in French, but if you want to check them out and use Google Translation, you can. There's one you can find on online that's called Who Are Satanists, I guess, something like that, in French, and it's an old thing that came out like 15 years ago, and one of the persons involved in my case, the judge, is talking about my case. So if you want to go to a source, that's a source. For example, he also wrote a book about my case. So if you want to have impartial sources, they're the sources, not Murderpedia or whatever you find online.
Heavily edited
or
interviews
stuff,
and things
or
like
yeah. And there's also my biography. Of course, it's my biography, so you will say it's biased, but I try to stay more or less impartial.
Yeah.
Impartial about, you know, describing what happened, and I describe the trial as it happened, and I describe everything that the investigation as things happen, and I didn't tell everything in the book because there's things that I did that I will not, you know, publicly say, but it's a good start if you want to get info on me, the case, etc.
And the actual truth.
And the truth, yeah. The other thing is another stuff that I sometimes get, and is the most funniest thing. It's when people from this or that community says, "You're not part of my community. You give my community a bad name." Like, you know, the vampire community, for example, vampires, or the black metal community, and the only answer I have to give is fuck your community, because I don't give a fuck about your little circle of friends or bands or whatever they are. Get a life. Honestly, this is the most ridiculous claim ever. I never claimed to be part of any community, and I do not give a F about what they think of me or what they think of me giving them a bad name. And if I can give them a bad name, that's so be it, because that's what they deserve. They fucking deserve it. So yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. No, but
Getting heated.
Yeah, it makes me laugh because, you know.
Has your past ever come up and affected your personal life in any way?
Oh yeah, you know, when you're considered as a monster from day one, socially, there's no way you can get out of it. I mean, you can change your name, you can do whatever you want, and I've changed my name, I've done many things in my life. I even had to use fake papers to find work. I wanted to work in the morgue again, so I used fake resumes and fake police checks, and I was actually on trial for that, and I was sentenced to 5 months probation for using fake police papers to work in the morgue. It happened recently, and that's why I don't work in the morgue anymore, because it's honestly, the pay is shit. and I'm done working in that environment. They're all assholes. The deaf workers community in France and in Paris, they're all they everybody knew who I was when I was working there. You know, it was word of mouth. They all knew, and you know, in front of me there were smiles, and once I got fired, they were like, you know, this guy, blah 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 blah. They were talking. So yeah, I absolutely despise this community, like many communities which have rejected me over time. It's not that I despise. I still have, you know, friends in the community. I'm not. I'm exaggerating. I still have people on the phone from time to time, and I still there's good people in that, you know, in among deaf workers in France. But there's also, it's like everywhere. There's also assholes and people who try to be holier than you, and of course my, you know, I am an extreme example of uh, somebody who's trying to reform through deaf work, right? Let's put it that way. But as you can see, as you will see, it's part 2 of my biography, which will be centered on my life as a deaf worker after prison. I, you know, I respected my work, and I never done anything like weird, or, you know, maybe the only thing sometimes I wasn't really 100% good at was, you know, trying to respect grief among people who were extremely vindicative. Because some families, because of grief, they are extremely confrontational, and sometimes they use you as a scapegoat, and they think that you're responsible for their relative's death because you are wearing a blues. So sometimes you get people like that in front of you. Sometimes I was a bit, you know, condescending towards them. So that's the only thing you can reproach to me. But otherwise, yeah, no, yeah, the past is always coming back, anyways. So I decided to embrace it and said, okay, treat me as a monster if you want. I will not prove you right, because so many people want me to, you know, go back in jail, and it would prove them right, you know. But I'm the kind of person who doesn't want to prove people right. That's my personal fight.
You're typical Aries.
Yeah, I'm Aries. I don't, you know. You think that you know where I'm going? Only me knows where I'm going. And maybe it's not where you think I would be going. But I'm going there. Not where you think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a long way around a short question. What are your thoughts on the animal meat industries?
Yeah, well, it's cruel, it's inhumane. But at the same time, you know,
We still eat meat.
we still eat meat. What would be fun would be using human people in the same kind of industry. Like, imagine having slaughterhouses with people, you would hang them from hooks, use an electric gun on them, and
Are you sure this isn't going to get us banned from YouTube?
no. I said that would be fun. I didn't say you have to do it. That's the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Absolutely not endorsing this.
no, not at all. It's not, yeah. But yeah, no, the industry itself, of course, is, you know, bad. That doesn't mean that, you know, killing an animal with your bare hands is better. I don't know. But I eat meat. We both eat meat. So it's just a fact. Yeah. I will not. The difference between me and a vegan is that I will not tell a vegan what to do. See, it's his problem, my problem. I'm not going to try to convert other people into what I believe. And it's the same for everything. If you're religious, if you believe in a certain political stance or whatever, not trying to convince you. I mean, that's your problem.
Your opinions,
Yeah.
your beliefs.
Exactly.
And you're entitled to it, just don't shove it down
What
my throat.
I don't like and I try to avoid in life is people who try to convince me of something. Get a life. I mean, there's probably people who are easily. It's more easy to convince them of anything. Me, I'm a wall, you know, a brick wall. You know, you just bounce back. It's impossible.
I think both of us are like that. Like, the more
Yeah.
you try and force me to do something, the more likely I'm going to
Exactly.
do the opposite.
Exactly.
So even if it's done with good intentions, I don't think you should
There's
ever force your opinions or beliefs on somebody else, no matter
Never,
how well
nah.
intended you might be.
I don't believe in good intentions. I believe in selfishness. People want you to believe in what they believe because they're selfish. It makes them feel good about themselves. So it's selfish. Even if consciously they think that it's a good thing, unconsciously it's selfish because it makes them feel good. It's the process behind it which I don't like. Because you pretend that you're doing good by preaching good values. No, what you're doing is making you feel good about yourself because you are preaching the good word, and that's selfish. And except that it's hypocritical because you think you're acting on the common good. No, it's all this is about selfishness. If you look at religions, it's the same. They're all preaching the good words of the Lord, etc. It's totally selfish. They just want people to agree on what they believe, not the common, not the religion itself. It's what they believe. And if a Muslim doesn't believe in what they believe, he's evil, or a Buddhist, or whatsoever. Everybody thinks that they have the,
Moral high ground.
yeah, they're morally higher than others, and no, they're all the same. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice quick one for you.
Yeah.
Deicide, or morbid angel?
A morbid angel.
Easy.
Yeah.
And another quick question. What is your favourite animal?
I believe in the hawk. No, I'm kidding. It's a Borat joke. I like platypuses.
I was not expecting that. I thought you were going to say quokkas.
Quokkas too. Quokkas, yeah. If you have never seen a quokka, Google it. It's QUOKKA. Quokka. I will not say anything further.
They're really cute.
Yeah. But yeah, platypus, because in French it's pronounced ornithorynque.
I'm not trying to say it again. I get it wrong every time.
So it's an animal, if in case you don't know what it looks like a duck, a beaver, and
LSD.
yeah. Well,
Why do things keep on falling?
I don't know. Something fell, we didn't see what it was. But yeah, it's platypus.
I feel like this place is haunted. It's all the skulls, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That latest addition to the collection is probably haunted.
They're trying to tell us something.
Read me! Okay.
Okay.
If you could eat any person in the world with no consequences at all, who would it be?
People are disgusting. Why should I eat them? People are gross. They're grosser by the day. I don't know. Justin Bieber? No. Fried?
Oh, I think he would.
Marilyn Manson. Yeah, that would be good.
That would taste like.
Shit.
I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah. Marilyn Manson. His head on a plate with lots of parcel.
Are we doing the head cheese?
Yeah.
You can have it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Head cheese, a Marilyn Manson head cheese. Yep, that's what I would eat.
All right. Coke or Pepsi?
Are we talking about Coke as in Coke? Oh, the drink, yes. Coke. Coke?
Do they make Pepsi in Bolivia?
Probably.
Yeah, Coke.
Coke.
If you could hang out with any person in history, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Joseph Stalin, because he was one mean motherfucker. And I would try to fist fight him, because he was a big burly guy. So.
I can imagine that. I would pay to see that,
Yeah.
actually, but he would probably whomp you. I'm sorry.
Probably, yeah.
It's like it's the power of the mustache.
The mustache, yeah. Plus, he would send me to the gulag right straight after.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun. If you've read about the story of the gulag, the gulags were
Not a good time.
Yeah, that was, no. So, Napoleon. Napoleon, yeah.
I kind of talked to him, kind of.
Yeah, she
Not the real
talked
life
to
one.
him. Yeah.
I talked to the guy who officially plays him in reenactments here in France. And
Yep.
that was cool, because I was like, he's the only person in history who can't send you an unsolicited dick pic because they cut his dick off during his autopsy.
Yeah, exactly.
So I overused that joke way too much.
No, but it's a funny joke. Yeah.
Not as short as I expected. In stature, I mean. Oh my god.
Vlad Dracul would be another one. Interesting. We have to find a translator because I'm not fluent in medieval Romanian. But
That was Vlad Tepes?
and Tepes, which means Vlad the Impala.
Yeah.
Like the car. And sometimes, with accents, I can't express myself as
Impala
easily.
is an animal before it was a car.
Okay.
And it's Impala.
Impala.
Yeah, Chevy Impala.
Impala. Vlad the Impala.
So not quite the same, but
Yeah.
I see where you were going with that.
I'd like to, I don't know. No, there's some crazy guys in history which would have been interesting to talk with. I don't know, the guy who invented the atomic bomb. No, it would be boring. I don't know. Joan of Arc. That's one cool cat. Well, you're the cool cat.
Thank you. I was about to say, hello,
Yeah.
there can be only one.
There could be only one, but she was a cool Joan. So.
That she would definitely be an interesting one to sit down and
Joan
spin
of
a
Arc.
yarn with over a few
Definitely.
cold ones. By cold ones, I mean drinks, not bodies. But
No. The guy who carved the statue of Pazuzu. Yeah, why not? I mean,
why not?
why not? The very first statue of Pazuzu ever carved. Because that was the main inspiration for all the devils in history ever after. If you look at it. It all comes to Pazuzu. This one. And behind me. And the guy who carved the actual first statue was a genius.
Digs out for Pazuzu.
Digs out for Pazuzu, yeah.
Okay. If you could change one thing about your past, what would it be? Do you need some thinking music?
I don't know.
Do 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 do. It's a
Honestly, I don't
harder
know.
question than it seems.
Yeah, one thing. I mean,
Because it's the butterfly effect. You remove one thing, then a whole bunch of other events would never have happened, and you wouldn't be who you are now.
I would have written Bundy when I was a teen, get all the letters, stack them somewhere, like in a time capsule, and I would have bought like 50, at least 50 John Wayne Gacy paintings, put them in a separate time capsule, dig up the capsule now, and open a museum.
Foresight, I like it.
Yeah, foresight.
Foresight from hindsight.
Yeah. Like, yeah. I know there's a guy who has more John Wayne Gacy paintings than that, but, at least it would have been my paintings.
Okay. What's the most basic bitch thing you do that would surprise others?
I eat yogurt every morning with chia seeds.
That's pretty basic, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no pumpkin spice involved, but...
No, not yet.
Ooh, never say never.
Yeah, never say never.
Name a famous person, living or dead, that you detest and why.
Wow. Detest.
That's a strong word.
Yeah, it's too much of a strong word. I don't care so much about people. Detesting someone who implies a kind of love-hate relationship. Yeah, no. That's no. No, there's no one on earth that I detest. No, it's too much of a waste of energy, detesting.
That's exactly my philosophy.
Yeah.
I think
Just ignore. I mean,
if you don't like someone, they don't deserve enough of your energy that is required to hate them or detest them. There's a lot of energy required for that kind of feeling towards someone.
You can despise someone, like that kind of, but it would be more a certain category of people that I despise because of their hypocrisy, I guess. Yeah, hypocrites, I despise hypocrisy.
So it's more behaviors than people themselves.
Behaviors and holier than you people. Yeah, this I totally despise people who think they are social warriors. Oh yeah, I can't stand them. People who claim to know the truth because God told them the truth. That's some kind of revelation. So if I don't share your revelation, I will not share your joy. So sorry about that. I will not.
That was so sassy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. No, yeah, those kind of people. I tend to avoid extroverts in general. People who talk to you that close to your face, I tend to avoid.
Does this make you uncomfortable?
True.
You were going in for a kiss there.
But yeah, you see that kind of people. And people who do not like skulls, So,
everyone's got one.
Yeah, exactly. People who use the word morbid over macabre, because let me tell you one thing: morbid is a medical term, doesn't mean macabre. Some people, they mix up the two things, morbid and macabre, and they say, "Oh, you're so morbid." No, I'm macabre. Morbid is like morbid obesity.
It means you're sick.
Yeah, it means you're sick. I enjoy being macabre, so I'm not sick about being Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, yeah. Just, be proud of what you are.
And get down with the sickness.
And yeah, I'm a big advocate of the use of the word macabre over morbid. And if it's my legacy on earth, that's my legacy.
Darkness is greater than sickness.
Exactly.
There's a shirt.
Oh, yeah. Good idea.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Name something that supposedly happened in history that you don't believe actually happened. I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with this one.
History? Like Australia is not even a country? No?
I didn't think you were going to hit that low, but okay.
I'm kidding.
Shots fired. Wow.
Babe.
Oh.
No. In history, I don't know. Hmm. No, I'm not talking about religions, if that's what you
Oh,
mean.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
We've touched on that enough.
Yeah, we've touched on that, and I do believe that certain historical figures actually existed. Yeah, I believe in messiahs or people who claim they were messiahs. The problem with messiahs is that it's always people who knew someone who knew the person who tell the story.
And it's Chinese whispers.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the problem, you know. Yeah, the Bible wouldn't sell that much today because everybody would be recording on camera and they would be like, oh yeah, maybe he didn't turn those things into bread or whatever.
You mean he just went to the bottle-o and got some goon and
Yeah,
did turn
exactly.
water into wine?
So yeah, that would be a bit hard, you know.
If I
But
could turn water into wine, oh honey.
other than that, and I'm not talking about religion because it's too easy. This is why I don't like, you know, to overtly make fun of religious people because it's easy. It's like making fun of, you know, I'm not gonna say.
Just stop.
Yeah, stop it.
Just stop.
But it's easy. Easy prey.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel, as they say.
Mm.
And I still don't know
Oh,
why.
by the way,
that's
I
a
want
reference.
to make something clear. I hear rumors sometimes that I am making fun of little people. So let me make the record straight about this situation with little people. Okay.
Thank you for using the correct terminology
Yeah.
as well.
It is true that I often, you know, share pictures of little people and I study their ways. Sometimes I would, for example, stop in the middle of the street because I see a little people, but it's out of genuine interest.
It's genuine curiosity. There's no malice.
Yeah,
behind
there's
it.
no malice involved. I'm not making fun of them.
Yep.
All right, not making fun. It's just that I am genuinely interested in their, you know, daily routine.
How they get about
Yeah.
everyday life, because obviously being short-statured means very different things for, you know, getting around your home, for example, having different things built so that you can reach certain things. Like I've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's out of genuine curiosity. It's not making fun. Nothing
And
like that.
also,
Nothing
there's a part
malicious.
of me that's like, okay, I know it sounds stupid, but I'm like, okay, they must have a more interesting life and more interesting things to say than regular people. Which is biased because, you know, maybe not. Maybe they're just plain boring like everybody else. But, you know, there's this little fact that comes in, this little factor that makes them more interesting to me than the regular sized people. Like giants. I saw a giant the other day in the subway. His head was touching the roof of the carriage. Actually, and there was a guy who asked him how tall he was, and he answered 2 meter 12. Like, I don't know how it's in.
Damn, that's tall.
Yeah,
He'd
that's
make a
tall.
good ruckman
Yeah,
in the
it's-
AFL.
Like, he would look Ramirez from up, you know?
You're like, oh, you missed your spot when you were like
Exactly.
not brushing your
Even
hair this
Kemper,
morning.
bigger than Kemper, probably. So, yes, tall people and.
We're both just interested in medical anomalies, anatomical differences
Yeah.
in stature and things like that. It's because we're both interested in those things. There's nothing malicious about it. It's genuine curiosity.
Yeah.
For Nico, there just happens to be a little bit more of a fascination with little people.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Also, I think that I share with them the sense of being an outcast. Okay? Except that for me, it's a different kind of, you know, being an outcast. But they're outcasts. And for me, they're not, you know, they didn't want to be outcasts. Okay? So that's what I think is interesting with little people.
And over the course of your life and over the course of their life, I'm sure, between you, you've been asked a lot of intrusive questions that you probably should never have been asked by people who didn't actually have the foresight to be a bit more respectful and tactful.
Exactly. So yeah, I can understand, you know. Mm-hmm.
But yes, putting that one to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Are you 100% French?
My ancestry is, yes. There's people from. It goes back on my mother's side to a knight who was called Guy de Pontieux, and he's actually shown on the tapestry of Bayeux, which was a tapestry that was done at the time of the Battle of Hastings, which tells you, if you're into medieval history, how old it is. It is 1,000 years old. So from my mother's side, the French lineage dates back at least from 1,000 years, because you know, people often say, yeah, France and many other European countries, you can't be 100% French, you can't be 100% German. Of course you can be. Immigration, massive immigration, is a very, very recent fact in human history. For thousands of years, people stayed in the village, they never got out, they never traveled, they were in their comfort zones, and they stayed that way for centuries and thousands of centuries. And you know, people like me who are French, and I know many French people, are 100% French because the lineage goes back to 1,000, 2,000, maybe thousands of years. It was the same villages, the same region. They never got out. So immigration is a fact. I don't say it's bad or wrong or good. It's just that people say you're never truly 100% of this or this. Yes, you can be. And there's countries like America or Australia which are based on immigration, and it's part of their history. But in Europe, there's pockets of population which can say, yes, I am Polish, yes, I am Swede, yes, I am English. Now, the question is, are you proud of that or not? Who cares? I mean, I don't care.
You can't control your ancestry.
I'm proud of who I am now and what I became, but it's not because some dude like 200 history was staying in his own village and didn't know any further that I'm proud of that. You know, I like French history. I like the guillotine. I like the macabre history of France. Don't get me wrong, that this is what I'm proud of. I'm proud of the catacombs, you know, so many things in France that are dark and mysterious, and cathedrals and stuff like that. But it's just the word French doesn't mean a thing, and French people act like cunts most of the time when they're abroad. So I understand that people don't like them, and I do get along with people from the Commonwealth, usually.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah. No, but that's a fact. But there's many people from the Commonwealth who will not get along with French people because it's part of the history. There was this war between England and France that happened like 500 years ago. And people will say, yeah, we were in war like 500 years ago, so we're still enemies. Yeah, get a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it go, honey.
Let it go.
Okay, if a movie was made about your life, who would you want to play you?
Not that guy from Twilight. Robert Pattinson? No, not him. Steve Buscemi? I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think? Who do you think would play me?
I think John Malkovich would do a good job.
Yeah. It's fun.
He's very versatile.
He's versatile, yeah.
Either him or Peter Stormare.
Yeah. That's a good,
Because he's also very versatile, but he always plays very serious and down the line.
Yeah.
But like when he does have that spark, it's sort of you just go, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
So yeah, I think either of those two.
Peter Stormare, get Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Yeah. One actor I like, I don't think that he would suit me or what, but I like this actor. It's the guy who played Hannibal in the series. Can't pronounce his name is
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, he's a good one. He's good.
He's brilliant.
He's good. He's good. I don't know. Yeah. Depends on what kind of vibe you want to give to the movie.
Sitcom.
Sitcom. Yeah. Exactly.
What do you think about war?
War. Ooh. What is it good for? Absolutely
nothing.
Say it again. This is what I think about war.
I think that clears up that. That's good. It's good.
We didn't rehearse or anything.
Nope.
No.
What do you prefer, money or fame?
In my case, it's infamy. Yeah. How do you say? It's not fame. It's infamous.
Maybe you can't pay bills with it.
Yeah. Can't really pay bills with it.
Like, I hate to sound materialistic, but money's going to win every time for me.
It depends what you want in life.
What is best in life?
What is best in life? The open step, falcon at your wrist, wind in your hair.
Why did I do this?
What is best in life? Come on! No, I don't know.
I did this to myself.
Yes. I want a museum. That's what I want. I want to be the curator of a museum. That's what I would like, honestly. And this might happen sometime in the future, so yeah. That's my next goal. I've always wanted to be a writer when I was a kid, and I became a writer.
Now you've got to find the next goal and kick it.
But I became more than a writer. I became a publisher. Always aim at something and be even more, right? So yeah, I don't know. I have many labels on me. I'm an artist. I'm a philosopher. I'm a humanist. No, not that last one. Never been a musician because I don't have the ear for it. So know your limits. My limits, it's the musical ear. I can't tell the difference between bass and guitar. So
yeah, he claps on one instead of two.
Exactly. So I
claps on
couldn't
one.
be a singer or know your limits. I couldn't be a ballet dancer, for example, even if I wanted hard, because I don't have the balance for it. So know your limitations and know what you can achieve in life and stick to it and try to get better. So yeah, money or fame, I don't care. They come naturally after you've reached one specific goal, I guess. So yeah.
And the final question. What's your favorite cannibal cookbook recipe, and do you have any cannibal inspired recipes for a follow-up book?
That would be the Dahmer bicep stack, because it's really basic and it's really doable. It's really easy. So I like that, but there's plenty of recipes. We are thinking of a book too, which would be even more sophisticated, still based on famous cannibals, of course. There's new ones. There's lots of ones in Russia that I haven't mentioned in the first cannibal cookbook. There's, for example, Catching Night in Australia. There's lots of cases. There were a few cases in the UK recently, even in the US. So yes, there's material for this, and I can expand. We can even add a larger, bigger Armin Maives section, because he actually had a recipe book, and that's interesting. He had a recipe book that he got from his mother, except that he had adapted it to his own type of special meat. But he actually made recipes and used recipes, so we could actually explore that. That would be interesting, yeah, for a book 2. So yes, book 2 is definitely one of my future projects.
Look forward to it.
It will be fun. It will be I want it to be something that you can actually easily do in your kitchen. That's the point, you know. You can actually try it. Maybe get into more details about the cuts and the preparation of the meat, stuff like that. Yeah, a proper recipe book.
Looking forward to working on that one.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Well, that's all of the questions.
Thank you for
Okay, well-
asking them. There might be a follow-up to this. If you've got more questions, this is something we could do from time to time. So thank you for watching this. We'll see you in another video soon, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Don't make any mistakes. Stay safe and be well.
What he said.
Yeah. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye.